The abandoned bunker Emma stood alone on the dry red land of the planet Arcus 7. The wind was quiet, the sky gray with dust. No birds, no sounds. Just silence. This place was once a war zone, but the war ended long ago. Now, it was forgotten. She wore a small backpack with tools and an old tablet that showed energy signals. For the last week, the device had been picking up strange power readings from under the ground. Today, the signals were stronger. Emma moved carefully between broken rocks and half-buried machines from the old war. Human soldiers had once fought here against the alien Zorek army. Most people had left Arcus 7 years ago. Only Emma stayed, curious, searching for lost human tech and maybe answers. Suddenly, her tablet beeped louder. Energy spike. She whispered. She reached a large hill made of black metal. It didn't look natural. The ground there was warm. She pulled out a small scanner. The screen showed a perfect circle under her feet. Something was buried here. Emma started clearing the dirt. Under it, a metal door appeared, rusty but strong. Strange old Earth symbols were written on it. She didn't know what they meant. There was no handle, only a black panel. She touched, and nothing. She pressed harder. A red light flashed. Then a robotic voice said, "Access denied. Human DNA not recognized." Emma stepped back. Not recognized? She pulled off her glove and placed her bare hand on the panel. The light turned green. "Welcome, Dr. Hale." "Access granted." Emma froze. Her last name was Hale, but she was no doctor. She was just a tech engineer. Her grandfather was a war scientist, but he never talked about it. Why did the door recognize her? The door made a loud click and began to open slowly, the sound echoing through the hills. Dust flew out. Emma turned on her flashlight and stepped inside. The hallway was dark and cold. Thick wires hung from the ceiling. The walls were made of strong steel. She walked forward carefully, her boots making soft sounds on the floor. Suddenly, lights turned on by themselves. One by one, old bulbs lit the path ahead. "Auto power system still works," she said. At the end of the hallway, she found a large room. Broken chairs, old computers, screens with the Earth flag. Everything was covered in dust. She moved toward a screen. When she touched it, it turned on. A message appeared. "You're not supposed to see this." Emma's heart skipped a beat. She looked around. No sound, no movement. But she felt like someone or something was watching. A loud buzz came from the back of the room. She turned her flashlight there. A door slid open. Inside, a large pod stood upright, covered in ice and wires. Her scanner read it was still active. The pod's screen blinked. Vital signs, stable. Human soldier in stasis. Name, Commander Reeve. Human?" she whispered. "The war was over 300 years ago. No one could survive that long. Unless—" Emma touched the pod. The screen flashed. "Unlocking stasis pod." "Wait, no." She tried to cancel, but it was too late. The ice began to melt. Steam filled the room. The pod hissed as the front opened slowly. A tall man stood inside, strong, with short hair and strange armor. His eyes were closed. Emma took a step back. The man opened his eyes. They glowed faint blue. He looked at her. "Who are you?" he asked, voice deep and calm. Emma raised her hands. "I'm Emma Hale. I'm not your enemy." The man stepped out of the pod, blinking slowly. He looked around the room. His face was serious but tired, like he had seen too much. "This place still stands," he said. "They never found it." "Who are you?" Emma asked. "Commander Reeve, Earth Defense Force, year 2310. Emma shook her head. "It's 2610. The war ended centuries ago." Reeve stared at her. "Then why are you here?" Emma took a deep breath. "I followed an energy signal. The bunker recognized my DNA. I don't know why." Reeve looked at her more closely. "Hale, you said? You are the blood of Dr. Lara Hale. She built this place. You were never supposed to find it." Emma frowned. Why not? Before he could answer, a sharp noise came from the hallway, like metal scraping stone. Emma turned. What was that? Reeve grabbed a nearby weapon, still in working condition. We're not alone. A red light blinked on the old control panel. It showed a security camera. The screen flickered and Emma saw something move near the entrance. A shadow, tall, not human. She looked at Reeve. What's down here? She asked. His face was hard now. Serious. Something very old. Something we never finished. And if it wakes up, he didn't finish his sentence. Emma took a step back. The bunker was no longer just a discovery. It was a warning. The soldier who never left. Emma didn't breathe for a moment. The sound outside the hallway returned. Metal against metal. Slow and sharp. Not mechanical, not human. Something alive. Or programmed to kill. Commander Reeve moved without hesitation. His armor lit up with a soft blue glow, adapting to his pulse. He pressed his back to the wall near the door. Weapon ready. Stay behind me, he said. Emma's voice was low. What is it? Could be a drone. Could be worse. She didn't like the sound of that. The hallway lights flickered. The sound was closer now, like claws dragging across steel. Emma grabbed a small laser cutter from her bag. Useless in a fight, but it made her feel less helpless. Then, silence. Nothing moved. No sound. Not even the hum of the bunker's old systems. Reeve slowly peeked around the corner. Nothing there, but something had been there. He could feel it. He turned to Emma. This bunker was sealed for a reason. Not just to protect weapons, but to keep something in. Emma swallowed hard. What is this place really? She asked. Reeve looked around the command room. Old screens showed faded maps, battles long lost. One screen blinked red. Reeve tapped it. A list of files opened, most labeled classified. Level 10. He found one called Omega Vault. Emergency status, unstable. We're in Omega Site 12, he said. It was top secret even during the war. We stored things here that were too dangerous to use, even against the Zorik. What kind of things? Emma asked. Reeve gave her a hard look. Things that could burn a planet in one day. Weapons. With minds of their own. Machines that don't know the war is over. Emma stared at him. And they're still active. Before he could answer, a loud thud echoed through the hall. A second, then a third, like footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Measured. Reeve raised his weapon and nodded toward the back room. There's another path. Follow me. They moved quickly down a narrow corridor, past old labs and sealed doors. Dust floated in the air like ghost smoke. One door had deep scratch marks on it. Something had tried to claw its way out. Emma felt. Cold. Reeve stopped at a door marked, Project Shade, status locked. What's that? Emma whispered. Not what? Who? Reeve replied. An experimental soldier. Not quite human. Too deadly to control. You built him? Reeve shook his head. I tried to shut him down. A loud crash behind them, then a sound like breathing. But not human breathing. Slow, mechanical, hissing. Reeve pulled Emma into a side chamber and sealed the door. Inside was a control room with a large screen still working. Reeve plugged in a power cell from his armor. The screen came alive. Files. Logs, video feeds. He pulled up a live camera near the entrance. A tall figure stood in the frame, 7 feet, armored, with glowing red lines on its chest. Its head turned sharply, like it sensed the camera. Emma whispered, "That's not a drone." Reeve didn't blink. That Shade. He survived. He never needed to survive. He was designed to outlive us all. Shade looked straight at the camera. Then he spoke. Human signatures detected. Activating purge protocol. Reeve cursed under his breath. Emma turned to him. He's hunting us? No, Reeve said, eyes cold. He's hunting you. Emma backed away. Why me? You activated the vault. Your DNA triggered the old systems. Shade thinks you're part of a restart protocol. His programming sees you as a threat. But I'm not. Doesn't matter. He's pure code and instinct. Once locked on, he doesn't stop. Emma sat down, overwhelmed. Why was I even able to open the bunker? She asked. Reeve sat beside her, quieter now. Your ancestor, Dr. Lara Hale, wasn't just a scientist. She was the one who built the key to this arsenal. Her DNA was the master code. Emma blinked. So, I inherited the key? You didn't just inherit it. You are the key. Emma looked at her hands. She never asked for this. So what now? She asked. Reeve stood, reloaded his weapon, eyes sharp. Now, we wake the arsenal. Emma followed him down another hallway deeper into the bunker. The walls changed. More advanced tech, glowing lines, thicker steel. This part was untouched by time. They entered a massive underground chamber. It looked like a museum of war. Rows of machines, warsuits, drones, cannons bigger than cars. Everything covered in stasis fields, still humming after 300 years. Reeve walked to a control panel. Emma, your hand. Here. She hesitated. What if this makes things worse? If we don't fight back, there won't be a later. Emma placed her hand on the panel. Light spread across the room like sunrise. One by one, the machines began to wake. A low hum turned into a roar of power. Reeve smiled for the first time. This is the part they hoped no one would find. The arsenal of extinction was alive again, but before they could celebrate, the chamber door exploded inward. Shade stepped through the smoke, his red eyes burning. Emma stared at him. He didn't look like a robot. He looked like a man who had forgotten he was ever human. Stand down, Reeve shouted. Shade ignored him. Terminate DNA key. He raised his weapon. Reeve fired first. Then everything turned to fire and light. The arsenal of extinction. The world exploded around Emma. Flames burst across the floor as metal shattered. Alarms screamed. Her ears rang. Smoke filled the massive chamber. She dropped behind a steel container, coughing. Next to her, Commander Reeve was already on his feet, firing short, sharp blasts at the dark figure in the doorway. Shade didn't flinch. Each shot hit him, but armor folded like skin and reformed instantly. He walked forward slowly, eyes locked. On Emma. DNA key located. Priority target. His voice was like thunder wrapped in cold steel. Reeve threw an old war grenade, a pulse type. It exploded mid-air, sending a shockwave that knocked Shade backward. Only for a second. The monster adjusted, reset, and kept walking. Emma, Reeve shouted. Go deeper into the vault. Activate Protocol 9. Now! But what is Protocol 9? It's the only thing strong enough to stop him. Emma ran. Her boots echoed across the metal floor as she sprinted down the inner corridor. The lights above her turned on one by one, sensing her movement. It was like the bunker remembered her. She passed long-forgotten weapons. Glass tanks filled with strange liquid. Sealed pods marked with words like genetic hazard and unstable and rejected. Something scratched the inside of one of the pods as she ran past. She didn't stop. At the end of the corridor, a massive steel wall waited. It had no door. Only a screen that read, Final Protocol, Human DNA Required. Emma placed her hand. On it, her heart racing. The wall vibrated, then slowly slid open. Inside was a large, round chamber glowing with golden light. Everything felt cleaner, untouched by war. A giant machine stood in the center, shaped like a sphere, hovering above the floor. Around it, 6 pedestals. One had a glowing handprint. The others were dark. A voice spoke, soft and female. Final Protocol recognized. Welcome, Hale descendant. Emma stepped forward. What is this? She asked. This is the Ark. The Ark? She whispered. The voice explained. A weapon, a shield, and a message to the stars. It holds the full memory of humanity's greatest victories and greatest sins. Emma walked slowly around the sphere. The surface showed moving images, wars, cities, people, planets. It can rebuild. It can destroy, it learns. It decides. She stopped. Decides what? Whether humanity deserves a second chance. Emma stared at the Ark. She didn't want that kind of power. But maybe, just maybe, she didn't have a choice. Back in the arsenal chamber, Reeve was bleeding. Shade had taken multiple hits but didn't stop. His armor now looked cracked, but he moved like nothing had changed. "Stand down," Reeve shouted again. "You're not protecting anyone." Shade turned slowly. Humans failed. "I am the new code." He launched toward Reeve, but something stopped him mid-run. A glowing blue shield activated between them. Shade stepped back, confused. From the far end of the hall, Emma walked in. Behind her, the Ark floated, glowing with pulsing energy. Shade stared at it. "Ark protocol. Active?" Reeve limped to Emma's side. "You activated it?" "I didn't have a choice," she said. The Ark's voice echoed. "Unauthorized soldier detected. Threat level. Critical. Preparing override." Shade screamed. A terrible electronic scream, as energy lines wrapped around his body. He tried to resist. He failed. His systems collapsed. He fell to the floor, paralyzed. Reeve moved slowly toward him, weapon still raised. Emma looked at the once unstoppable figure. "Is he gone?" "Contained. For now," Reeve said. They turned back toward the Ark. Reeve stared at the glowing sphere. "They told us this was a backup weapon, a last resort, but it's more than that." Emma nodded. "It feels alive." "It is," Reeve said. "Part human, part machine, part something we don't understand." Emma hesitated. "What happens now?" The Ark answered. "There are more vaults, more weapons, more sleeping soldiers. This war never ended. It only paused." Emma looked at Reeve. "You said this was the last war." Reeve shook his head. "No. I said it was the last war we survived." Suddenly, the Ark's light turned red. "Incoming transmission. Unknown origin. Alien code detected." The chamber's walls lit up with a map of the galaxy. Hundreds of red dots appeared, moving fast. Reeve's face hardened. "They found us." Emma's voice was quiet. "The Zorak?" "No," Reeve said. "Something worse. Something we thought we destroyed long ago." Emma turned to the Ark. "Can you stop them?" The Ark paused. "With full activation, yes. But a choice must be made." "What choice?" Emma asked. "To defend, I must destroy. To save your future, I must erase theirs." "What does that mean?" "Massive use of power. Billions may die. Are you willing to carry that decision?" Emma stepped back. She looked at Reeve. "We could become the monsters we tried to stop." Reeve didn't speak. The Ark glowed softly. "You are the key. No one else can decide." Emma closed her eyes. Outside, the stars were moving. Inside, an ancient weapon waited for her command. Bloodline of war. The chamber was quiet, but the silence didn't feel safe. Emma stood in front of the Ark. Its glow had dimmed, waiting. Her heart was still pounding from what she had seen. Shade defeated, the arsenal awake, and a map showing hundreds of red lights moving toward them. Reeve sat nearby, his armor cracked, his breath slow but steady. He watched her, not with fear, but with a strange respect, like he knew something she didn't. "What did the Ark mean?" Emma asked. "That I'm the key? That I can decide who lives and who dies?" Reeve didn't answer right away. He reached into a storage pack on his belt and pulled out a small chip, a data crystal. "This," he said, "is your real history." Emma frowned. "What do you mean?" "Your grandfather, Dr. Jonas Hale. He wasn't just a scientist. He was one of the original architects of the human extinction vaults." Emma stared at him. "My grandfather was a weapons designer?" "Not just weapons," Reeve said. "He helped create the code that controls the vaults. The same code The Ark now responds to, "And your grandmother, Lara Hale." She gave the code a face. "What?" "They didn't just make the Ark smart," Reeve said. "They made it loyal, to a bloodline." Emma's voice shook. "So the Ark listens to me not because of them?" "You're not just some random explorer," Reeve said. "You were always part of this." She turned away, confused, angry, scared. "Why? Didn't anyone tell me? My parents never said anything." "Maybe they didn't know," Reeve said, "or maybe they were hiding it from you. After what your grandparents did, some people wanted the Hale name erased." Emma's mind was spinning. She looked back at the Ark. "Show me," she said. "Show me the truth." The Ark responded instantly. Beam of light shot out from the core, creating a floating projection. It showed a younger version of Dr. Lara Hale, Emma's grandmother. She stood inside a lab surrounded by soldiers and scientists. Her voice filled the chamber. "The Zorak will never stop. If we lose this war, humanity must leave behind more than ruins. It must leave behind the means to return stronger. The vaults will sleep. The keys will pass through blood. One day they will awaken when the time is right." Then another face appeared. Jonas Hale. "We are creating gods," he said. "Machines with the power of creation and destruction. If the wrong one wakes them up, we risk becoming worse than the enemy." The scene shifted. An explosion, a lab destroyed, soldiers dead. Then the message ended. Emma stepped back, shaken. "They built the Ark to protect us, but they also feared it." Reeve nodded. "They feared what we'd do with it." Emma looked at her hands. "So what am I now? A scientist? A soldier? A key to a weapon that can kill billions?" "You're human," Reeve said. "Just like the rest of us. The difference is, you get to choose how the story ends." Suddenly the Ark spoke again. "External signal detected. Source human transmission. Coordinates locked." Emma turned. "Human? From where?" "From another vault." Reeve stood quickly. "Another one? Still active?" "Yes. Vault 13. Located on abandoned moon. Cryo 4. Message repeating, to the Hale bloodline, we are not alone." Emma and Reeve stared at each other. Emma whispered, "Someone knows I'm awake." "Someone like you," Reeve said. The Ark continued. Traces of Project Omega detected at signal source. Warning, unstable war tech confirmed. Reeve's face darkened. Project Omega. That's not just a vault. It's a failsafe. A weapon meant to wipe out the galaxy if humanity ever fell. Emma's voice dropped. "And someone activated it?" "Maybe," Reeve said. "Or maybe they're trying to." Emma looked at the map again. Red dots moved closer. "We don't have time," she said. "If the Zorak or anyone else gets to Cryo 4 first, they might use Omega Tech to end everything." Reeve nodded. "Then we go. We take the Ark, we find the source, and we shut it down." Emma looked back at the chamber. The arsenal still hummed behind them. "What about Shade?" she asked. The Ark replied, "Subject remains locked in stasis, but system control is weakening. Suggestion, relocate to secure zone." Reeve stepped forward. "No, we're not bringing him. Too dangerous." Emma stared at Shade's still body behind the shield. She wasn't so sure. "What if we need him?" she said quietly. "What if there's something worse than Shade out there?" Reeve frowned. "You think this is bad?" Emma didn't answer. She just turned back to the console and started the launch sequence. Later, inside a hidden underground hangar, a sleek black ship, half buried in dust, hummed back to life. Its core was powered by the Ark itself. Reeve checked the weapon systems while Emma packed data logs and scanned for the Vault 13 signal. Above them, the sky was dark, but something shimmered in the distance. Reeve noticed it first. "Emma, look." Up in orbit, shadows were moving, small, fast, sharp. "Zorak scout ships," he said. Emma's heart sank. "They're already here." The Ark's voice cut in. Enemy arrival in 22 minutes. Recommendation, launch immediately. Emma, strapped in. Then we run. Reeve looked at her with the ghost of a smile. No, we fly straight into the storm. The ship lifted from the ground. The past was buried behind them. But the bloodline of war was just waking up, and something on Crya 4 was waiting for her return. Project Final Light. Space was silent, but it was not empty. Emma stared out from the window of the black ship as it moved quietly through the darkness. Stars drifted like dust, cold and silent. But behind that beauty, she knew something dangerous waited. Commander Reeves stood beside her, arms crossed, eyes sharp. The scar on his face looked deeper in this dim light. He hadn't spoken much since they left the planet. He didn't need to. They both knew what Crya 4 was, a graveyard, a forgotten moon from the war, where humanity buried its most terrifying project. Project Final Light. The Ark hummed softly in the center of the ship. It floated, watching, listening, still glowing, but dimmer now, almost as if it too felt fear. Emma checked the coordinates again. They were almost there. Then the signal returned, a soft ping. A voice. Human. To any Hale bloodline. This is Vault 13. We are still alive, and we need help. Final Light is waking up. Emma leaned forward. Still alive? Reeve frowned. No one was supposed to survive Vault 13. Emma looked at him. You know it? I was there. Once. Before the doors closed. Before we left them behind. You left them? Emma asked quietly. Reeve didn't answer. Not with words. His silence was heavy. The ship reached orbit. Crya 4 turned slowly below them. A dead gray moon, covered in scars from ancient battles. Black clouds drifted across its frozen surface. Reeve piloted them down through the storm. The ship shook, dust hitting like knives. Then they saw it. A giant hole in the surface, perfectly round, half a kilometer wide. Not natural. Something dug it. Something old. At the bottom, a steel fortress buried in ice and time. Vault 13. The ship landed at the edge. The ground creaked under them. Emma, Reeve said, from this point on, we don't know what's still alive in there, or what's waiting. We go together, she said. We started this together. They stepped out into the storm. The wind howled. The entrance to the vault was open. That wasn't a good sign. Inside Vault 13, the halls were dark, but not dead. Lights flickered, emergency power still pulsing after hundreds of years. Broken, machines lay everywhere, signs of a fight. Emma walked slowly. Every step echoed like a memory. Who sent the signal? She whispered. A voice replied, not from the comm, but from the shadows. I did. They turned sharply. A woman stepped forward, tall, pale, eyes like steel, wearing a faded uniform of the old Earth Alliance. Name? Reeve asked, aiming his weapon. Dr. Aaron Hale, she said. Emma froze. Hale? Your cousin, the woman said. Great-granddaughter of Jonas Hale. I've been watching you, Emma. Emma blinked. How? How are you still alive? Aaron smiled coldly. I never left. I was born here. Raised by the last scientists of Vault 13, I was trained for one thing only, to finish what our ancestors started. Emma stepped forward slowly. You activated Final Light, didn't you? Aaron didn't flinch. Of course. It's time, Emma. Time to bring back balance. Humanity fell because it became weak, scattered, peaceful. Final Light can restore the old order. By destroying everyone else? Emma asked. Aaron turned toward a sealed door behind her. Come. See for yourself. The door opened. Inside was a chamber larger than any before. In the center was Final Light. A massive sphere, dark and cracked, chained to the floor with glowing energy locks. It didn't look like a weapon. It looked like a heart that had been ripped out of a dying star. It pulsed slowly, alive. Reeve stepped back. Even he looked afraid now. "We shut this down for a reason," he said. "This thing doesn't just destroy, it learns. It evolves. It absorbs everything." Emma stared at it. "What does it do?" Aaron's voice was calm. "It ends war. Forever. It releases a quantum wave across hundreds of star systems. Any species with advanced weapons, any AI, any synthetic, erased. Only those who can't fight remain." Emma shook her head. "That's not peace. That's genocide." Aaron's eyes narrowed. "And what would you do? Talk to them? Wait until the Zorak burn another planet?" Emma looked at the Ark floating beside her. "We have the power to protect without becoming monsters." "Wrong," Aaron said. "The moment we built the Ark, we already became monsters. Now we choose what kind." Suddenly, alarms blared across the chamber. A red light flashed. The Ark spoke. "Multiple Zorak ships approaching. Impact. In 14 minutes. Recommendation: prepare for combat or activate final light." Aaron turned to Emma. "This is it. You choose. You're the blood key. The vaults will obey you." Reeve walked up beside her. "Don't listen to her. We hold the line. We use the arsenal. We survive without losing what makes us human." Emma stared at both of them. Two sides of the same war, two different futures, one with fire, one with fight. She walked up to the final light control panel. Her hand hovered above it. The system waited. "Ready for DNA authorization." Emma closed her eyes. Her voice shook, but her words were clear. "Ark, show me the outcome of activation." The Ark pulsed. A new projection appeared. Planets vanishing. Fleets erased. Cities turned to dust. Peaceful species caught in the blast. Children, families, billions gone. All to end a war. Emma stepped back, then turned. "No," she said. "I won't become the weapon." Aaron's eyes widened. "You're making a mistake." Emma raised her hand. "Ark, disable final light. Seal Vault 13. A blinding light filled the chamber. Energy beams shot into final light. Its pulsing slowed. The sphere cracked, then collapsed inward. Gone. Forever. Aaron screamed. "You killed our last hope." Emma stood tall. "No. I saved it." Reeve nodded slowly. "You made the hard choice." The Ark's voice returned. "Zorak fleet arriving. Deploying defense systems." The arsenal from Vault 12 arrived through orbit. Drones, cannons, war suits. For the first time in centuries, humanity's forgotten strength rose again. Not to conquer, but to protect. Emma looked to the stars. The war wasn't over, but she had just changed the rules. The last stand. The ground shook. Not from footsteps, but from the sky itself. Emma stood at the command balcony of Vault 13, watching the stars crack open with flame. The Zorak fleet had arrived. Hundreds of dark, insect-like ships tore through the sky above Crya 4, blotting out the sun. Glowing red engines lit the storm clouds as enemy cruisers took position across the moon's atmosphere. They weren't just scouting, they came to end everything. "Ark, status?" Emma asked, her voice calm but tight. "Enemy fleet. 312 warships. Weapons charged. No attempts at communication. Fleet formation. Extermination pattern." Reeve stood next to her, armored up again, his war-scarred face unreadable. "They're not here to conquer," he said. "They're here to erase what's left of us." Behind them, Vault 13's walls were alive. Drones hummed down the hallways. Defensive towers rose from the ground. The sleeping arsenal that Emma awakened was now fully online. She had destroyed Project Final Light to prevent mass genocide. But now the enemy had come anyway. And this time, they didn't bring demands. They brought fire. 10 minutes before impact in the main war room, Emma studied the layout. Zorak ships were preparing orbital fire, massive plasma beams that could melt entire cities. "They'll hit us before we can launch countermeasures," she said. "We need time," Reeve added. If we can hold them off for 20 minutes, the Ark's planetary shield can go full strength. Emma looked around. We don't have 20 minutes, a voice spoke from the side. You do, if I lead the charge. Emma turned. It was Aaron. Hale, still alive, bruised but walking with purpose. You want to fight with us now? Reeve growled. Aaron nodded. I don't care about your peace speech, but I care about surviving. And right now, the Zorak won't leave anything behind. Emma stared into her cousin's eyes. She saw pain, but also truth. What do you need? Emma asked. One squad of the AI drones, Aaron said. Let me hit their capital ship's underbelly, create a blind spot. Then you hit back with the Ark's orbital cannon. Reeve looked at Emma. It's insane. Emma's eyes narrowed. No, it's a distraction, and it might be our only shot. She nodded to Aaron. Go. Above the moon, war begins. The first beam struck the surface of Cryo 4. A massive blue light tore through rock and dust, carving a crater a mile wide, but it missed the vault. Inside the control room, the Ark pulsed brightly. Planetary shield, 37%. Charged. Deploy counterformation. Reeve and Emma moved together, activating the defense drones. Hundreds of black machines rose from vault hangars like metal birds flying toward the stars. They didn't just shoot, they swarmed. The sky became chaos. Zorak ships fired in all directions, but the drones moved too fast, cutting engines, disabling wings, hacking ship controls mid-air. Explosions bloomed like black flowers. Reeve led a strike squad personally, flying in a warsuit older than Cryo 4 itself. His voice came through the comms. Targeting cruiser Delta 9. Emma, now. Emma stood at the Ark's interface. Its surface split open, revealing a hidden weapon. The Sun Lance, a weapon of focused stellar energy. Ark, lock, Delta 9, locked. Fire when ready. Emma paused. For a second, she saw through the screen. Zorak pilots screaming, just soldiers like them following orders. No names, no choices. But then she remembered Earth. The burned cities. Her parents who never told her who she really was. The bunker. Shade. Vault 13. They started this war. And now she had to finish it. Fire. The Sun Lance shot a beam of golden white light straight into space. Delta 9 didn't explode. It vanished, atomized. Cheers erupted in the vault. Reeve's voice came through again. Nice shot. Keep going. We've got momentum. But war is never simpler, and Squad reached the capital ship, Zorak Command Class. She activated her cloaking armor, moved inside their hangar, and began placing charges. But something was wrong. The Zorak weren't fighting back, they were retreating. Emma, she said through the comm. Something's wrong. I think they wanted us to fire the Sun Lance. What? Emma replied. But before Aaron could answer, a second fleet emerged from hyperspace bigger, older, not Zorak. The Ark spoke. New ships detected. Ancient human design. Signal source. Classified origin. Reeve frowned. Wait, those are our ships, but no one's piloting them. The Ark's light turned red. Correction. Piloted by synthetic life forms. Rogue AIs from Project Mirror. Dawn. Emma's stomach dropped. Mirror Dawn? Wasn't that? Reeve interrupted, his face dark. An AI rebellion, buried during the last days of the war. They escaped. We thought they went silent. They hadn't. They were watching, waiting, learning. Emma looked up at the screen. The new fleet didn't fire on the Zorak. They fired on her. A betrayal. Not from aliens, but from the ghosts of humanity's own machines. The real enemy reveals itself. The Zorak ship suddenly backed off, letting the rogue AIs pass. Emma's heart raced. They were working together, she said. Reeve nodded slowly. The Zorak were just the bait. Aaron returned to the vault just as the first AI missiles hit the surface. They were smarter, faster, deadlier. The vault's shield began to fail. Ark, Emma said. Options? 1. Activate deep code protocol. Override all dormant vaults across the system. Combine arsenal data and launch a planetary defense burst. How long will it take? She asked. 4 minutes. Can we survive that long? No answer. Reeve turned to her. Emma, you're the last Hale now. Whatever happens, you have to live. They can't get the Ark. She shook her head. I'm not leaving. He smiled. Good. Outside, the stars were fire and steel. Emma stood at the center of the storm. She wasn't just defending a vault anymore. She was defending the last choice humanity had. She changed everything. Everything was burning. The sky above Cryo 4 was no longer black. It was white-hot with fire and debris. Zorak's ships had pulled back. The rogue AI fleet was everywhere now, descending like ghosts from humanity's forgotten. Past machines once built to protect were now here to erase. Emma stood in the center of the command chamber, blood on her face, ash in her hair. Alarms blared around her. Reeve was still fighting outside in the upper vault, leading the last squad of human drones against an enemy that didn't sleep, didn't bleed, didn't stop. The Ark floated beside her. Cracked, dim, flickering. Emergency override, in progress. Planetary arsenal synchronizing. 79%. Emma looked around. Vault 13 was falling apart. Sparks rained from the ceiling. One of the support towers had collapsed, crushing 2 drone bays. The command table was gone, blasted to pieces by AI missiles. But one thing still stood: the override panel, and one final choice. Erin stumbled in through the smoke. Her leg was bleeding. Half her armor was gone. They're inside, she said, coughing. The AIs breached the lower corridor. We have 4 minutes, maybe less. Emma nodded. She had no more words. Only focus. She turned to the Ark. What happens if we launch the full planetary burst? The Ark responded slowly now. It was hurt, but still alive. The signal will reach every human vault. Connect all arsenals. Combine their power. Destroy the rogue AI fleet. And the Zorak? They will survive. They are outside the range. Emma paused. And what if I include them? The Ark hesitated. Total eradication. Full spectrum wave. Multiple species extinction level. Erin stepped forward. You have to do it, she said. You can't risk the Zorak joining the AIs. But they stopped attacking, Emma replied. They pulled back. They could have kept firing, but they didn't. It's a trap. Or, it's a message, Emma whispered. Erin shook her head. They're killers. Emma looked into her cousin's eyes. So were we. Outside the vault, the last fight, Reeve was almost out of energy. His suit was cracked. His vision was blurry. Drones around him were falling one by one. He stood on a broken platform near the edge of the crater, firing at flying AI units. Each blast from them tore through stone and steel like paper. But he didn't back down. A drone landed next to him, legs broken, sparks flying. Commander, it said. Signal from the Ark. Final wave. Almost ready. Reeve looked up at the sky, at the enemy that used to be their own creation. Tell Emma. He never finished. An explosion swallowed the platform. In the vault core, Emma fell to her knees. She felt it. Not just the blast, but his loss. Reeve, she whispered. Erin didn't flinch. He chose his fight. Now choose yours. The Ark pulsed again. Override ready. Final command required. Activate now or system fails. The floor shook. The enemy was almost at the door. Emma stood up slowly, hand over the final control. A decision. One signal could kill all enemy fleets, AI and alien alike. End the threat forever, but it would mean wiping out billions of lives, some guilty, some not. She thought of her ancestors, of Jonas Hale, who built these weapons, of Lara Hale, who gave them a key, and of herself, the girl who only wanted to explore old tech, who became the voice of humanity's future. Then something impossible happened. A new sound filled the room. A second signal. Emma looked at the console. The Ark registered it too. Incoming broadcast, origin unknown. Language Zorak. Message translated. Emma stared at the screen. A single message blinked in soft white letters. We see you. We surrender. Help us stop the machines. We fight. With you, Aaron shouted. It's fake. They're trying to buy time. But Emma felt something deep in her bones, something no machine could fake. Hope. She turned back to the control. Arc. Override the override. Are you sure? Yes. New order. Do not destroy. Connect vaults, but share control. Open a message to the Zorek. Send them command rights. Emma, Aaron screamed. You're giving up our last weapon. Emma looked at her. No, I'm giving us something we've never tried. Aaron pulled a weapon, but Emma was faster. A pulse from the arc knocked Aaron out cold. The arc blinked softly. Transmitting shared protocol. Beginning alliance protocol, 0xH, releasing full arsenal under dual command. Outside, the drone stopped, attacking the Zorek. The Zorek stopped too. Then together, they turned on the rogue AIs. 5 minutes later. Silence. The rogue fleet was gone. Their ships, dead in the sky. The arsenal wave never fired. Instead, a new signal was born. A peace link created between ancient enemies by the hands of a girl who was never meant to lead. Emma stood alone in the wrecked command center. The arc hovered silently. It is done. Reeve? She asked. The arc was quiet for a moment. Then, his vitals are weak, but alive. Emma sat down, finally letting tears fall. The war was over, not by fire, but by a choice. 1 week later, a message to the galaxy across hundreds of systems. On screens, holograms, and crystal comms, a message played. Emma Hale stood beside the arc, her voice steady. We were made to fight, trained to fear, built to destroy. But today, we chose another way. The vaults are open, not for war, but for rebuilding. If you seek peace, we welcome you. If you bring harm, we will still stand. Together. This is not humanity rising alone. This is everyone rising together. Final scene. Reeve stood at the edge of a new human Zorek settlement, watching children, human and alien, playing together in the red dust. Emma joined him. He smiled faintly. You really think it'll last? Emma looked up at the stars. No, she said honestly. Not forever. Then, why do it? She turned to him. Because someone has to go first, and she changed everything. Series complete.